Carlos Ramirez, owner of NVS Audio in Roselle, New Jersey. Today, we talk about the Beyma Pro 8CF. The speaker looks very similar to the Pro 8CF Neo, but it does not have a Neo magnet. It's got a standard ferrite magnet. Upon visual inspection, the 8-inch has a larger cone. I'm sorry, obviously it's got a larger cone. It's an 8-inch versus a 6-inch, but it has a larger voice coil. Voice coil appears to be 1 inch, ½ inch to 1 inch larger than the 6-inch, so I guess that'll make up for the fact that it's got a weaker magnet, being that it's running a ferrite magnet. One thing that I immediately like about it, it has a large 8-inch flange, but the arms taper in, so it fits in a lot of applications where an 8-inch wouldn't normally fit. So it's got a large flange, but it's got a shorter arms on the basket. We've tried it in the lowers, which is where we're going to test them, and they dropped right in with no modifications, so that's going to be great. We're going to be testing them in a set of Dirty Bird 8-inch lowers. Also, we got a can from Kicker that Rick sent to us to try and modify for his T-Rex. We've tested a bunch of different 8-inch speakers, and this one actually dropped right in. So this is going on Rick's T-Rex, and we were having a problem finding an 8-inch that fits in here and sounds good. So the Hertz Neo obviously dropped in, but we wanted something that played lower and had more mid-bass, and this happened to be the answer. Look the way that baby fits in there. So that is definitely 2 thumbs up. We're definitely going to be using that. And look at the way it fits inside the Dirty Bird lower. Sits all the way in, no modification. So this speaker is going to be a problem. So between the 8-inch and the 6-inch, obviously the magnet's different. We have Neo on the 6-inch versus ferrite on the 8-inch. And also, this one is available in 4 ohms, which is really great for motorcycle and car applications. So this one's available in 4 ohms. This one's only available in 8 ohms. We metered it just like most of the 8 ohm Beyma speakers. It's actually about 5 ohms. And then when we did a sweep of the speaker plane, it hung around between 4 and 6 ohms while playing. So it's not really an 8-inch while it's playing. So which means it'll pull more power from your amplifier. We got to do a sweep on this one to see if it's really truly 4 ohms, and then I'm going to do a sweep to see what it is while it's playing. For some reason, this did not come with the Thiels and small parameters, so we actually have to test it to see what the resonant frequency of the speaker is, what the frequency response is, how low the speaker will play, and how high up the speaker will play. So I'm actually kind of glad that it didn't come with the paperwork, because now I get to test it and see what the true numbers are and share it with you guys. Okay, so the speaker came in at 3.6 ohms, 3.8, so right where it's supposed to be. Push it on the cone. Yep, right back to 3.6. Now, this is the IMSG from SMD DeMore Engineering. Love this tool. This runs a test tone through the speaker and lets me know what the impedance of the speaker is at every frequency. Okay, so when we get down to 50 hertz, it's 11 ohms. 6 ohms at 600 hertz. $10 ohms at 1K. And 7 ohms at 800 hertz. Alright, now let's figure out what the resonant frequency of the speaker is, drop it in the enclosure, play some pink noise, and see where the speaker likes to play top and bottom. Okay, we have an 800.4 bridged, so we're sending 400 watts to the woofer. The tweeter's disconnected right now, about halfway through the track. We'll go ahead and add the tweeter in so you can hear what it sounds like full range. But this is just the 8 by itself. No crossover. We have no crossover set. We're going to go ahead and add the tweeter now. Okay, it's Beyma, so you know it did really well in every single one of the tests. We used impedance meter, IMSG, to determine the 1,000 small parameters because for some reason this speaker did not ship with it. So we have an RE of 3.8, which is normal for a 4-ohm speaker. FS of the speaker I measured at 89. So with that measurement, depending on your crossover slope, you can high pass it between 150 and 80 at 12 dB would be a good starting point, or at 24 dB between 100 and 126. So these are just rough estimate numbers on where to start. It's a Pro Audio 8-inch driver, so that would completely make sense, and that's also free air. If you notice when we had it playing in the pod, so 8-inch driver is normally going to go in a tour pack or a saddleback lid or a lower. This is a Dirty Bird lower, so they're kind of small, so it restricts the airspace, which means the woofer won't play low. But at 400 watts RMS with no crossover applied, which meant it was playing all the way down with no protection, it was able to play down to 40-50 hertz, which is pretty amazing. I noticed that the speaker did not play as loud as the 6-inch because obviously the 6-inch would have a higher efficiency. It's a smaller cone, so it can play louder with more power The 8 would obviously outperform the 6, but I've noticed with less power, the 6 got louder quicker than the 8. So obviously you would want to run more than the test wattage we were running. So if you're going to spend the money on a set of 8-inch, minimum I would recommend is 400 watts to each one, maybe 300 watts to each one, but ideal would be, we'll call ideal between 300 and 600 watts RMS to each of these 8-inch drivers. That is my opinion. I would play around with the high pass. I'm pretty sure we can get away with 60, 70 with a good 24 decibel per octave crossover, but that's obviously the higher amount of power that you run, the steeper you want your crossover slope to be, or the higher you want your high pass filter to be set. So if you want them to play lower, you have to reduce the power so you don't overdrive the speaker. But it's Beyma quality. In our test, we had it paired with a 25mm horn. Beyma is infamous for mid-range drivers that can play cleanly up into the thousands of hertz. So we like bandpassing our mid-bass drivers from 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 to 3K. Then we let the tweeter do the rest. So what you just heard was the speaker by itself and the speaker with just a 25mm horn, and it played from 40 hertz all the way up to 20,000 hertz with just a tweeter 8 combination. So Beyma always has excellent frequency response. Nothing weird going on the RTA. It had really usable bandwidth, really good response. Not sure. I'm gonna have to double check the price of the speaker because Gabriel just sent it to me to test, so it came no paperwork, no nothing. Some of the numbers we came up with: RE of 3.8 ohms, FS of 89, the R max of 27, RX of 10, FL of 40, FH of 138, inductance of 1.1 millihenries, QMS of 2.4, QES of 0.39, QTS of 0.3, CMS of 3405, and SPL of 151. These are the numbers we came up with using the impedance meter. For some reason these woofers are not on Beyma's website, so I recommend you double check my numbers. But all the numbers I came up with, I ran them through a couple of calculators online and came up with really close and similar results. So 2 thumbs up. The Beyma 8-inch carbon Pro, exact part number is Pro-8CF for carbon fiber. 2 thumbs up in my book. Great for lowers, great for lid speakers. I'm not a big fan of lid speakers, especially if you're doing big bass in the bags. So on low power setups, I don't mind 6-mines or 8s. But in high power setups, and I'm assuming you'd have a high power setup if you're running a carbon 8, I would recommend a sealed lid, 10-inch woofer in the bags, and on a Sound Digital 3K maybe. So on that kind of power, seeing between 750 and 1500 watts per bag, I wouldn't want to see a speaker sharing the same airspace unless the bag is sealed off, of course. Then go ahead all day. But tour pack lid, lowers, absolutely no problem. Saddlebag, if your mid-bass driver is running low to moderate power, or you have a way of dividing the airspace for the mid-bass driver from the woofer in the bag, then I say go for it. But another excellent job by Beyma, another high quality speaker with excellent frequency response and a broad frequency range, so it can be used in a multitude of applications. So there is not an application that you'd use this speaker in that I think you'll be disappointed in. So 2 thumbs up again for Beyma in their carbon fiber series Pro.